Hello, everyone. Welcome to our MCLE presentation. Thank you so much for being here. I am just letting everyone into the session, and I'll wait a couple moments to let everyone get adjusted and get entered into the session. Okay, I will go ahead and start off because I know everyone is super busy, and I would like to start by thanking everyone for being here today. We are really excited about the panelists that are going to share some very insightful information to you, and we continue to build out our CLE program at MCLA. We've been doing 2 CLEs each month, and we've really had a really nice turnout, and so we appreciate all of your support and for attending today. As you all know, today's session is focused on women in law and building and managing a successful work-life balance. As all of you know, there are many roles that we wear as women, and so trying to balance the professional goals and the personal goals is something that I know each of us struggle with on a daily basis. So I really appreciate all of the panelists for coming to share their expertise. So, as I was saying, as women, we wear many hats. We're friends, we're mothers, we're partners, professionals, and so many other things. And a lot of times we have a lot on our plates and we try to provide to everyone. We always are asked to show up and provide and to be nurturing and to do a lot of these things. And as professionals, it's oftentimes hard to balance the personal and professional side. So, today we will be discussing choosing a life that suits you in all ways, using your why to help fuel the journey, the medical connections between daily stress and health, practical self-care tips to maintain balance and performance, honoring your essence through wellness and grounding, and empowering yourself to inspire yourself and the world around you. So I will now briefly introduce our three panelists, and I will go into more detail on all of their backgrounds momentarily. But so excited to have Jennifer Johnston Terando, who is a mediator with MCLA, and I've had the pleasure of working with her over the past couple years, and she is truly amazing. She has so many accolades, which I will go over momentarily. But she is a nurse as well as an attorney and a mediator, so she wears, in addition to her personal roles, she wears many different hats as a professional. And so she will be sharing some medical expertise and the connections between stress and self-care and performance in the professional setting. We also have Ace, who is a good friend and colleague of mine. I was so thrilled that she was able to join us today because she brings so much life to everyone that she works with and everyone she connects with. And she truly has been helping women in law and women in general and other industries and beyond to really have self-care, wellness, and balance, which is so essential in maintaining and staying healthy and being able to successfully perform. You have to be well and able to do that. So super excited to have her here today, and she's going to share some really exciting information. We also have Gina Zapanta, who is an attorney and also is a CEO of Empowered with Gina, which is a community-based women's organization where women in law come together, they empower each other, they inspire each other, they have community. She has a trip every year in Louisiana that she does, bringing women together and so many other things. And I will explain more about her a little bit later, but I just wanted to introduce you to the women, and we will go right into the next thing. So really the goal of today's session is to understand how we can utilize our why, which is our passion, to continue to highly perform, but also find the balance in between. So as you all know, we work very hard. We have a lot of roles. And so it's really the connection between living a purpose-driven life that allows us to keep fuel, to keep the energy, and to be inspired and excited about the work that we're doing. So I think it's always important to always have check-ins with ourselves to make sure that our personal goals do align with our professional goals and we have a balance. Gina actually does not agree with the balancing act. She believes that you make choices. So it's really not a balance, but you choose what is important to you. And she'll speak a little bit about that later. So, first, I would like to reintroduce Ace, and she's an entrepreneur, a yogi, a marketing expert. She's a business coach. She has over 20 years of experience in marketing and really helping people on both a professional and personal level. She merges business strategy with wellness and helps individuals to integrate joy, authenticity, and well being into their work. She has a background in real estate and human resources, and she's the creator of I Am Free workshops and also a wellness collection. She hosts a podcast, she's a retreat leader and a passionate advocate for self-care and personal growth. And as I said, anyone that has a chance to meet or connect with her, she is just so amazing. Her energy is truly, truly special. And so I'm going to go into some of the questions that I asked Ace before we had this presentation and really delving deep into some of the issues that we face as women. And these were some of the questions that I asked her and what she will be speaking about today. So, the first thing is, what are your thoughts on imposter syndrome? Next, can you share your insights on the importance of women being truly seen and how this impacts their abilities to succeed while also staying vulnerable? What are some practical daily routines or small but powerful habits that women can implement when facing burnout? And lastly, are there certain yoga postures that can be done in moments of anxiety to help blood flow quickly and center yourself? So before I let her go ahead and speak, I just want to, everyone probably is aware of what imposter syndrome is. This is something that I personally struggle with all the time. And it's defined as the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts and skills. So Ace, I will turn it over to you. Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
of course, I would sneeze right when it's like my time. Thank you so much, Devin, for having this and for everyone being here. It's so nice to be here and share space. So 5 ways to prioritize your well-being while achieving big career goals and fostering soulful connection. So imposter syndrome, just really quickly with that, with regards to that, is something that I have dealt with definitely in my um both personal life and professional life. It's almost as if like, I have moments where gosh, I'm in this beautiful relationship and then it's like, does it feel real? Is it meant to be? Is it like, am I worthy of this, right? So then there's a worthiness component of it that comes in there and you almost feel like, am I going to do a good job at this? Because again, I have no, a lot of the times when we go into relationships, at least in this culture that we live in this society that we live in, we're not set up with tools for success. I know that I personally wasn't. No one set me down and was like, this is how, you become a woman or whatnot and like do all those things. And in other cultures and in other countries and whatnot, there's definitely and we don't need to dive, I'm not going to dive too much into it, but it's a support that's there. And the reason why a lot of the times we all experience this imposter syndrome, just circling back to that, is because we weren't taught. I wasn't taught how to be an entrepreneur. I wasn't taught how to be a college student. I just went to college and I wasn't taught how to just kind of go out in the world and, this is like, save money and, do this, do that, do that. It was all kind of like learning as I go, which I'm sure a lot of us can attest to here. And so with regards to imposter syndrome, it's, we're just doing our best with what we know and what we have. And a lot of the times we feel this self-doubt. We feel like we don't belong somewhere because we've never been there before. If we get into the practice of showing up in spaces that we want to be in, then we'll no longer feel that like, I don't think I belong here. I don't think I'm worthy enough. I don't think I can do the job, or I don't think I can be the wife. I don't think I can be the mother. I don't think I can be the girlfriend. And so for me, a practice of relinquishing the imposter syndrome is to own that I belong, own my wholeness, own my worthiness, own that wherever room I step into, wherever I am, I belong there. Some rooms I don't need to stay in long. Like for example, I should not be at NASA, but if I do land myself at NASA in a room at NASA, I'm gonna act like I belong there until I realize, and they realize too, she don't know what she talking about. And fair enough. But a lot of times you're going to be in situations where you have the knowingness and you have the ownness inside of you, and it can feel scary because it's new. But I would just recommend trusting that, trusting your knowing, trusting your worthiness. And it's a practice every single day of getting into the practice to help get rid of that pesky imposter syndrome. Um,
And I just want to quickly add that ACE is, I think part of the other thing is having a good support system. And
yes.
even putting this presentation together, I was a little bit nervous to ask folks to present and to speak. And she just reminded me, that you're not asking anyone to pay your rent. This is a great opportunity. People would probably really like to participate. And just reminding me that I belong in this space and I wanted to curate this experience. And it's a beautiful experience. So I think also having a good support system is super helpful with dealing with imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're doing this, Devin. Good job. It's awesome. Okay. So scheduling your wellness like it's a non-negotiable meeting. Just like you wouldn't skip a call with your boss or a major client, don't skip your breath work, your movement, or your stillness. And I block off time in my calendar that is my non-negotiable, that is my do not disturb, that is my do not touch that. And I need that not just for like no one else is managing my calendar right now but me. So that's a reminder for myself to say, hey, don't touch that morning meditation that you do. Don't touch the time that spend time reading your Bible app in the morning and writing in my journal, my gratitude journal for 5 minutes. All those things are key components to making sure that my day goes smoothly. And when I find that I don't do those things, then I feel like my day is a little bit crunchy. And I am definitely curious to hear what Gina's going to have to say with regards to balance and whatnot, because I'm with her on that. There's no such thing as balance. It's really, in my opinion, there really isn't. It's just like this. And I heard this from a broker I used to do business with years ago, where she's like, essentially, what baby, metaphorically speaking, or sometimes literally, is crying the loudest. That's what gets your attention. That's the one that gets your attention. And so being able to recognize that scheduling your wellness like it's a non-negotiable meeting, and that if I don't do these things, and you're looking at stuff, if I don't do these things that I know is going to make my day move as best as I can control it with ease and flow, then that's not going to serve anyone that I get to do business with or work with, or my kids or my family or whatever.
Perfect.
Are we answering questions now, or is there like at the end? Because I just saw a question pop up. I just wanted to like just make sure that I'm not acknowledge that. And
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I don't see the questions right now, but I think
okay,
we'll wait till the end so I don't
okay.
throw you off with your flow.
Okay, all right, cool. I just want to acknowledge that person's question that popped in. Okay, so define success on your terms. And what I love about this is defining what it looks like for you. I've been an entrepreneur and I've been working for myself for the last 5 years. And I'm feeling like just now over this last like 9 months of business, I am really in my groove, right? So I am not in a 40 hours, 50 hour, 60-hour work week for a corporation anymore. I feel like I am working more than when I was working for someone else, because I am working for myself now. However, like not everyone's version of success is an 80-hour work week and a fancy title. For me, it's like when I decided to resign from my corporate job 5 years ago, it was because I wanted to wake up every day and feel joy. I wanted to, everything that I did or everything that I do in my day, I want to feel joy in it. And now, is everything like cupcakes and butterflies? No. But like, I want to have joy in the fact of like, okay, I'm sitting with my accountant today, or I'm doing my taxes today, or I'm learning because I'm learning it all. Right. So that's joy for me. there's joy in learning something new, and it might feel like arduous, and like task might seem like they're going on forever, but for me, I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is my idea of success, being able to take a nap in the middle of the day if I feel like it, but also knowing that I'm going to do my work, I'm going to get to my workout, I'm going to tend to my clients' needs, I'm going to do what I need to do for my community, my collective, my friends, my family, but then just like making sure that it's on my own terms and not anyone else's.
I love that.
And when you get really, like I said in the note here, when you get really clear on what that looks like, it's again the non-negotiable. When you get really clear on what you want to do, your messaging, it's really just a step up in every aspect of your life. Check in with your nervous system, not just your inbox. We love to be productive, friends, but when was the last time you asked your body, how are you doing today? I'm going to ask everyone to really just take a moment to take their hand on their heart, or on their belly or somewhere on their body, and just close your eyes, pause for a moment, take an inhale, and exhale, and really ask your heart what it needs. Ask your body how it's doing today, and listen for the answer. And some days, and here's what I also want to preface here. Not, I don't want people to get into the fact of like thinking that their body has to be, or their day has to be perfect and everything has to go with ease and flow, and forcing what's not true. If one day your body's like, we're really tired, or we're angry, or we're sad, or we're frustrated, honor that. Honor that. You're not, there's nothing wrong with that, because the moment you honor that and smile at it, as one of my teachers likes to say, it really gives your nervous system a beautiful calming reset of being like, okay, all right, whew. So we acknowledge the truth. Now let's get to the bottom of it so we can really get to the way we want to feel, which is like joyful, happy, love, whatever that is for you. And it also, as I mentioned here, calm nervous system is a powerful foundation for creativity, connection, and career clarity.
Yes, I love that. And thank you for having us take a moment and take a deep breath, because even just in that brief moment, it really calmed my nervous system down a bit, and some of the anxiety of the presentation, and all the things that go through our minds. So I think that's super important. And that's something that I do in my mediations. I'll have the clients do the same thing. And I think that's super helpful. But I also think, like you said, in the morning, really doing a check-in. And one thing that I've always done since actually high school is taken mental health days. And for me, what that is like you're saying, when you check in with yourself, and if you're not really feeling yourself and you're a little bit off, or a lot of things going on, sometimes it's better to take a pause and maybe not do as much interaction, so you don't throw off other people or disrupt your normal flow, and really just tune into yourself and do that self-care routine and all of those things. So I think that's extremely important, is really checking in, because no one else will do that for you, right? We have to do it
No.
ourselves. So
Yeah, no one's going to check in with you. And you can do this at any point throughout the day. I love that you started in the morning, but really just at any point throughout the day, you feel, if you're getting ready for a big presentation, if you're getting ready for a meeting with your boss, if you're getting ready for a meeting with your team, and you kind of feel a little, if you feel frazzled, they're going to feel that energy, right? They're going to feel that.
yeah.
And you want to make sure you stay grounded, you stay centered, and as I like to say, in my seat of awareness. So whatever that seat of awareness is for you in that moment, own that. So yeah.
Yes.
Cultivate relationships that nourish you, not just network you. This is a really big thing. This is something that has been really important to me. It's the intentionality of it all, because we all know networking events, go and network, go and network, go and network, which is like, okay, that's good, right? It's good to do that. But I saw something recently that someone said, you know what? A lot of the times we forget to network laterally, right? We forget to look at already who's in our village, who's in our circle, who are we connecting with on it, or who are we having emails with or having conversations with or sharing DMs or funny reels or anything like that with every single day. Perhaps networking in that way to nourish you so that whenever you are looking to network up, um, and for some of us, like again, that's fine to do if that's your journey, if that's your path, and you want to level up in a certain way, then networking with certain people who are where you aspire to be, of course, that's important. But I've learned that the real connection isn't built on exchanging business cards. It's built on shared laughter, honesty, and showing up as your full self. These are relationships with people that cultivate, that know you, that are going to talk about you even when you're not in the room. They're going to bring your name up. Oh, I know someone. I know Devin that could help you put this together. Or, oh, Gina like could do this. Or, Jennifer could create that for you. Or my friend like does this, right? And so prioritizing those relationships that you already have and pouring into them, your village and your community and your network is naturally going to grow as a result. And prioritize people who hold space for your wins and your messy middle, right? Like for me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm sure most people on this call are or still in there and still in it, which again is fine. But when we, can let our guard down a little bit, or, let our hair down. I mean, I shaved all mine off because I just, it's a whole nother story, but reason for that. But really, when we can let ourselves just kind of be messy for a moment, that is who, and you're able to do that within the village you've already cultivated. And the right connections, as I said, here will elevate you without draining you. And sometimes some people in your village, you need to snip, snip. You need to be like, you're not serving me anymore, and we're not serving each other anymore. So a lot of times when that happens, when relationships start to dissipate, it's no one's fault, or perhaps it might be one person's fault, but a lot of the times if nothing really major happened, then things just expire, and connections just expire. But if it's something where, you know what, it's important, they're important to you, to just even keep close, check in here and there. I feel like as we get older, friendships aren't, we aren't in this place anymore like we were when we were in elementary, middle, high school, even college, of like having the geographical friends where it's like we're friends because we're close to each other, and and you have those friends where you're like, okay, you cultivated these relationships with people you work in the office with every day, right? But prioritizing that. But if it's something that's not nourishing you and you're feeling drained as a result, or you're dreading going to this networking event, then stop for a moment, check in with your intention of why you're going there. And if your intention of going there could possibly be filled by someone who is already in your network, or someone who you already have a relationship with, then save your time and set up a call, set up a lunch, set up a tea with your already friend.
Yes, I absolutely love that. And ACE is so wonderful. I was, going through some stuff one day, and I was explaining that I was fine and everything was fine and everything was going to be okay. And this is just life, and kind of having that mentality. And she reminded me, she said, no, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel how you feel. It's normal to feel that way, and let yourself go through that process. So I think I absolutely love this point about having strong relationships, and when we're networking, really building those connections, like you said, through laughter, through traveling, through events, not just like you said, sharing business cards and sharing business ideas. So I absolutely love this.
And rest is strategy, not laziness. So, high achievers often struggle with rest, but here's the truth: rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. When I allow myself to slow down, I hear spirit more clearly, my ideas flow with ease, and I remember who I am. Rest isn't about stepping away from work, it is the work. And so, I'm going to tell a little story quickly. Is last week, or these last couple weeks, have been really busy for me. I've had events, I've had workshops, I've had client demands, and all these sort of things, like just back to back to back. And I'd felt myself kind of coming down with a little bit of a cold. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting sick again. Like, this cannot be happening. What is going on? And then one day I woke up last week and my body was like, nope. We aren't going anywhere. We aren't leaving the house. We aren't even opening up our laptop. We aren't doing anything because you need to rest because you are sick. And I always really prided myself on someone who would really take a nap, take care of myself, rest. But I'm also the type of person that I like doing stuff. I like going out as far as like connecting with people. Being around people really nourishes me and it fuels me. It doesn't exhaust me, right? It's something that I get a lot of energy from, I get inspiration from. But when it's about finding that balance in that, right? Like we can find a small balance in that of saying, okay, yes, I love to see my friends, but maybe you cap it at like, instead of like four outings out in a weekend, maybe knock it down to two, and maybe set up something with if their friend is having something you can't go because maybe they're having a party and you're like, and you want to see your friend and say, you know what, I would love to see you. Let's set up something one-on-one or with a smaller group so we can really chat and connect anyway. Because a lot of times, if it's a party that you're going to, you're not going to be able to spend a lot of time connecting one-on-one with your friend who invited you anyway. So, I during the pandemic, it was like I would have these days when I would call them my cat days, where I have a cat and she just lays around in the sun, and I'm like, wow, she's my real guru because she's like, I don't know why you're worried about stuff. I don't know why you're buzzing around here. Look at me. Look at me laying in this sun. I show you how to do it. I show you. Just watch me. And so, again, if you don't prioritize your rest, if you don't make it a strategy, if you don't make sure, like, it is something that is built into not just going to sleep, but really resting, if that's not something that like you would plan a meeting, plan a presentation, if that's not included in your day to day, then your body will at one point say, okay, enough. Now I'm going to have to sit you down.
Yes, that's actually that really goes into kind of the next segment that Jennifer will talk about all of the health implications of not taking rest, not taking care of yourself, and what can happen. But before we jump into that, Ace has put together some yoga postures that are really helpful when you're dealing with some of just anxiety or anxious moments. And so I will also share this PowerPoint with everyone afterwards so you can go back and refer to the postures. But I think I asked her to put this together because there's a lot of different postures in yoga, but I really wanted to hone in on the ones that can really help, when you're feeling a bit anxious. So I'll jump into the first one.
Yeah, so it's a forward fold. It's standing up, feet hip width distance apart, and bending your knees a little bit as you fold forward. And if you need to bend your knees a lot, do that. You don't have to be, a lot of times people are like, I can't touch my toes. I can't come to yoga. I'm like, well, yoga can help you do that, first of all. And second of all, why do you need to touch your toes? Like they're fine there. You don't need to touch your toes in order for it to be for you to be doing yoga. But really, why this works is increases blood flow to the brain, calms the nervous system, gently stretches the hamstrings, and it helps to really kind of just go inward, right? It's one of my favorite ways to, I'll start with my arms up in a mountain pose, Tadasana, and then I'll forward fold. And it's kind of like, okay, I'm bringing the sun energy with me all the way down through my body, and I'm folding it and bringing it into myself. So, and again, if you want to sway side to side, that's a really sweet thing. A little ragdoll pose, just kind of like fluttering your lips, like shaking it all out. It's one of I do this every day, every day.
Yeah, and it's one of the ones that's so simple,
So
and one of the
simple.
practices you do it through each posture, and sometimes it seems, repetitive, like, why am I keep doing this forward fold? But it's just like the check-in that you were saying. It's something that we need to do to move the blood flow, and when we do it, we feel really happy that we did it.
hmm Legs at the wall. This is a game changer. You can do this, right before you're getting ready to go to bed. You can do it right when you wake up in the morning if your legs feel really heavy and really tired. If, let's say, if you have an office and you just kind of need a moment, you can close your blinds or you have some sort of privacy shade or something, and you can prop your legs up the wall or what, or, you know, uh, a cabinet or a vestibule or whatever you have in there, just kind of prop up, and it's 5 minutes, just kind of allowing the blood to like reverse and recirculate, get rid of tired legs, and really just kind of help you relax, like really drop into your triggers the parasympathetic nervous system to where it allows you to really, okay, I'm going to rest here. I help digesting my food or what have you. It's like, okay, I've been running 90 miles a minute. I need a second to just kind of take a little bit of a reprieve. And it doesn't take long to feel the effects, 5 to 15 minutes or however long you need it. But Yeah, I definitely recommend this one.
Yeah, it makes you sleep so well.
Uh-huh. Child's pose. Now, this, if you have really tight hips, then this I would recommend having like blocks or books underneath your hands or underneath your forehead as you kind of surrender down. You can do it your arms out in front of you, or you can bring your arms next to you. You can bring your knees apart, or you can bring your knees together and just kind of melt here. And just it's child's pose balasana is just a surrendering pose. It's a grounding pose, and it just allows you to just kind of surrender for a moment to reconnect. And yeah, like I put here, this is like your yoga hug. I love it. It's like giving my heart a little massage and just being like, okay, we're good, we're good.
Yes, I love child's pose.
Mm-hmm. And then seated forward fold Paschimottanasana. This is something where, again, if your hands don't connect with your feet, that's fine. You can always bend your knees and hook your two-piece fingers around your big toes. And so that kind of helps you to release a little bit in the back area, the spine. And if you did want to just kind of have your legs straight, and your hands don't reach to your toes, you can bring your hands next to your hips, next to your legs, place them either on books, block, pillow, whatever, and just kind of allow your legs. I mean, just kind of chilling on the floor, stretching it out, really just energizing from the inside out. This is just something where you could do it when you're watching TV or in between meetings, in between Zooms. Just if you feel comfortable, roll it. If you have a mat, great in your office. If you don't, then just kind of sit on the
It's fun.
floor
Just
and get
the
and
mat.
kind of, yeah, and then go down. The thing is, when you get, so I saw just kind of quick segue before we wrap up. Is like I saw a friend last night that I hadn't seen since she'd had a baby, and like I come in and the baby is just like like she's so sweet. They're like she's usually really shy, and I was like, okay, all good, but I teach yoga to children as well, so I know to go and get down to their level. Right? Like you can't expect to have a connection with yourself. You can't expect to have a connection with a child if you're up here and they're down here, right? Like they're looking up at you and you seem like really tall and really big and really overwhelming, especially if you're a new person. So drop down to that level, and it's a energy of dropping down to the floor, of coming down to the ground. It helps ground us all. It brings back up this childlike, we'd play on the floor, we roll around, we just be really low and just having a good time connected to the earth. And that's why a lot of kids are just kind of still connected, and they stay close to the ground and they stay close to the earth. And so they really are able to walk around with this grounded energy. Not all of them, but I'm not about to sit up here and lie. But like, that's just like at the end of the day, it's just like, again, dropping down, getting down to the ground, and just taking a second to be closer to the earth is a game changer for your day.
That's so funny. Sometimes when I'm stressed at work, I will go into a conference room and I'll just sit on the floor and I'll have my laptop and I'll just tell my team I just need to sit on the floor and ground myself, and you do feel a lot different than sitting at your desk. So
Mhm.
that
And then cat cow, we have, just cat cow, just kind of waking up the spine. This is a natural inner spine energizer midday. If you feel like, okay, I had this coffee or this matcha and it's not working, do a couple cat cows. That'll help you wake up, help you energize. Again, like I said here, connects breath to movement, massages the spine, and helps to release any stuck energy in your chest and belly area. Oftentimes we do that anxiety lives. So in my classes this week, the theme has been working in our solar plexus, which is at our core, our Manipura chakra, and working on that area so we can get rid of that anxiety, so we can really show up in the world with this vital energy, this like vitality, this like zest, this fire, because it's spring now. Everything is blooming now. So all the seeds that you planted before this spring got here, now it's time. Now it's time to really, reap the seeds of your hard work and really let yourself shine. So cat cow is one of those things that'll really ground you and bring you back to your center, especially if you're feeling a little squirrely.
Wow, thank you so much. I think that is the last of the yoga postures, and Everything that you provided to us was just so amazing. And out of respect for time, I'm going to segue into Jennifer because I know that we also have some other stuff to get through. But everything you shared was amazing. And I know you have to jump off soon. So if there are questions for Ace, I will give her information, her email, and you can all reach out to her separately. So thank you so much, Ace.
Thank you so much, Devin, for having me. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Okay, so our next panelist is Jennifer, who I briefly introduced before. Jennifer is super special because, well, for many reasons. Oops, sorry. But as I mentioned, she is an RN, she's an attorney, she's a mediator, she is a mom, a wife. She was also the past president of SCMA. And you can kind of read some of her other accolades here. She represents physicians and contract negotiations and other health law matters. And as I said, she is one of our mediators. She specializes in medical malpractice and other types of disputes in the medical industry. She was a former pediatric and postpartum nurse, so bringing deep empathy and understanding into her work, which I think makes her so special as being a mediator. And so I am really happy that she's here to share us the medical perspective of how stress and not taking care of our bodies can really impact us on the short term and long term. And then also, she'll share some tips to living a healthy, fulfilled life. So, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, Devin, for the very kind introduction.
Yes, and these are some of the questions that I proposed to Jennifer that I asked her to kind of talk about as we go through her work. So I asked her, through your work, you've witnessed firsthand the physical and emotional effects of high achieving women. What are the biggest impacts you've seen? Next, I asked her, how do you balance being a care provider in a demanding profession while also managing your personal life? And lastly, when life becomes overwhelming, what does your personal routine look like to regain balance and wellness? So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you now, Jennifer.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, a lot of this really meshes very well with the stuff that Ace was discussing, and talking about the how the question was the what I've witnessed firsthand is the physical and emotional effects of stress on high achieving women. So, there's the short-term symptoms that are in our body, and I feel like you can all see this list that Devin has put up on the screen. And so, who on here, um, speaking with attorneys or mediators, any type of professionals, but toward attorneys, who hasn't walked into a courtroom when you have a big motion to argue and immediately, what are you feeling? All of these things. At least I am, heart rate's up, you might feel a little sweaty. There's just a whole nervous energy, which is really your fight or flight response kicking in. And it actually is beneficial. You can perform quite well when your body really kicks into that mode. The problem is when your body is in that mode too often. And so you'll have all of these types of symptoms, and I'll go further down the list in terms of other symptoms you may experience is the muscular system as well. You're sitting at your desk all day, you're working on motions, you're answering phone calls, you're juggling a bunch of different balls in the air, and you'll feel that. Definitely the computer neck from being down and everything. So your body is getting all of these different they are negative effects in some ways, and they're coming in little bits. Definitely everyone has felt GI symptoms from the effects of stress, whether it is ulcer symptoms, a burning stomach, or just nerves in your stomach, all the other unpleasant symptoms as well. If you want to go on to the next screen, stress also, it brings us headaches and migraines. The endocrine system is one that maybe we don't feel, but it's one of the worst ones. And I want to take just a moment to talk about what happens. So, again, talking about stress really being the fight or flight response. When you're feeling stress, your body, your brain sends a message that says, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And so your body is going to release both adrenaline and cortisol, which is good in a way. But when cortisol is continually being released into your body, it actually causes blood sugar fluctuations and increases your blood sugar. It increases your blood sugar to protect you. But when you're constantly having these increased cortisol, that's when then your body starts to think it's hungry, thinks it needs to replace the sugar. So you're going to be craving fatty and sugary food. So stress eating isn't really just some phenomena. It's based in science. But then, of course, it leads to weight gain. It can lead to insulin resistance and to a condition called prediabetes. It can literally be caused by stress as well as the lifestyle effects of stress of a poor diet and limited exercise and weight gain. And long term can cause a lot of problems. And of course, sleep disruptions, whether you're having trouble falling asleep or you pop up at 2 in the morning and think, oh my gosh, did I file that, reply, or did I do this, or did I do that, or did I miss that deadline? Are all things that cause sleep disruption, as do small children. I have 3 kids. My kids are well past the getting up in the middle of the night phase of life, but that's another thing that interrupts the sleep disruption and does cause the body to have a stress response. So if we can move on, and I also want to be mindful of that we have time to hear from Gina, so I will move through this a little bit quicker. You can read the list, but the problem with the short-term stress and not managing short-term stress, and I think ACE gave such excellent tips for managing short-term stress, is that short-term problems become long-term problems. The big ones I mentioned, the endocrine system and the release of cortisol, is that people can develop type 2 diabetes. And that's not necessarily uncommon as people get older and they have not really cared for their bodies as they should. And that just comes with a whole host of problems. It affects, causes nerve issues, it causes circulation issues, can cause kidney issues, heart disease. So there's so many problems that can be caused by that. And some other ones are, just a lot of these all kind of play on the original symptoms, but big ones are the increased risk of dementia, I would say, and really depression and anxiety from not feeling well and also facing a lot of stressors. And depression and anxiety, as we know, and especially faces the legal profession, is the use of drugs, alcohol, and food to cope with those symptoms, which again, it's all cyclical, and it all just continues to create bigger problems. And so if we want to move on to the tips for healthy living, it's what can we do to minimize stress or to treat stress so that we aren't having these long-term effects, because it is once you get into those long-term problems that can, be caused by stress, they're very, very hard to undo. And they often, involve, hospitalizations, medications, things that you don't want to deal with. There's a saying, and maybe Ace may even know the answer to this, is that I think there's a Buddhist saying that says your body is really the temple for your spirit or your soul. And I think that's, even if you're not looking at it from a spiritual or religious aspect, I mean, your body is your home and you have to take care of it, just like you take care of your home. If you're going to let your roof leak, then, your walls are going to get moldy, the walls are going to fall down, everything's going to fall apart. So you have to be taking care of things. I truly believe, and that may be the nurse in me, that diet and exercise are the two biggest things. They should really lead your wellness, because I think if you're really taking care of your body and really preventing or treating the symptoms that we talked about on the previous slides. And so when you're leading with diet and exercise, I think stress will start to naturally decrease. It will give you the mental clarity to do better work. I never tell people how to eat. I think each person, I mean, there's different, reasons that people follow different types of diets, whether it's, just preference or it's beliefs. I never tell people how to eat, but I make sure that you're eating healthy. There's always that saying about the perimeter of the grocery store. I do think America, unfortunately, has some of the worst foods, with the worst processed foods and additives. And as a rule of thumb, you're getting your best foods on the perimeter of the grocery store, your fresh fruits and vegetables, your lean meats, your proteins. And so the best way is to eat healthy most of the time and to treat yourself. We're never going to eat healthy all of the time, but I always say 6 days of healthy eating and 1 day of eating what you enjoy is always a good rule. Exercise regularly, find something you enjoy. Meditation, I'm going to move a little bit quicker so we can get through all of this. Meditation can take many forms beyond traditional practice. I just think, and I think Ace already covered a lot of this, is really just to take some time to be away from the daily stressors, to disconnect. And you can really do so many things, from traditional on the mat meditation to just taking a walk in nature. Studies will show that that calms your nervous system. We are on all of the time. You know, I can wake up in the middle of the night and there will literally be a text from a client. I don't respond to it, but that will certainly get your mind going. And so you just have to really be careful to make sure that you're, you know, following healthy habits to reduce your stress. Healthy habits build over time. We talked about perfectionism and imposter syndrome and already here today, and I think so many of those things are so important for women. In terms of, you know, developing healthy habits, it's never going to be perfect, and you're always going to be changing your mind about, you know, what works for you. And I think the biggest reminder is really just to keep trying. You know, some things, one day I say I'm gonna meditate every day. The next week I say I'm gonna walk 3 miles a day, and I'm constantly changing, you know, finding out I don't have time to do this or that didn't work. And so, you know, I think the biggest thing is to just keep showing up for yourself, and to keep trying, and to not really be too hard on yourself. Okay. Did I miss any of the questions?
No, that was so perfect. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing. And I thought it was really important to have her here because I'm only 31, but I have really seen the effects of stress on my health the last 18 months. And it's not something that I want to continue on, and I don't want to develop, you know, some of those long-term effects. So I think, like you said, the endocrine system and the hormonal imbalances that can happen to us, and that we don't always notice or realize, but significantly affect us down the road. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing all of this stuff from the medical perspective, and from your firsthand experience. And I don't mean to cut this short, but I do want to move into Gina's presentation. Gina is so kind to be here. She's very limited with time because she is a mother of four. She's a business owner. She does so many different things, and
About the
she's,
pool.
yeah, she's at the pool right now. So many things. So this is a background of who she is, and I'll let her explain more, so I won't take your time. So Gina, please, thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your interest. And for Jennifer and Alicia, I was listening and I'm like, yes, check, check, check. 100% check. Thank you.
So we'll go into our conversation. So, I asked Gina some questions. Gina is, she has a company called Empowered with Gina. She's a wife, she's a mom, she's an attorney, and she really gives so much to the community. When the LA fires happened, her and her husband, I think they rented over 100 hotel rooms, for victims that had been, you know, their homes were in the fires. And aside from that, she does so many other things in community, but she's always so gorgeous, flawless, always giving advice to other people on how to prioritize self-care. And I really wanted to know from her, you know, she's teaching all of these things, but it's obviously very evident that she's practicing this work as well. And for me, as I was saying, you know, trying to be super successful, but then not staying healthy and, you know, losing parts of myself, I really wanted to ask her how she does all of this. So I'll just let you go ahead and speak, Gina.
Hi, thank you so much for your interest. And I'm going to start by not doing what we typically do. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm at the pool and I have no makeup on. I'm not sorry about that. To what Alicia was saying, the disconnect and the slow down is vital to success and long-term sustenance of the marathon. And so I am like this because I've chosen to do a date night with my husband in Vegas It was last night. We're going home this afternoon because I'm going to make my kids dinner after they get home. So if you needed to know how it gets done, this is a perfect example. So I'm not sorry that I'm here. You too should be inspired to book that trip. Book that trip. Book that weekend away. You don't need to go somewhere. Sit in your backyard, but you better turn that phone off if that's what you need to do, or keep it on, scroll, go for it, or whatever you need to do. So Devin, would you prompt me with the questions again, if you wouldn't mind, please?
Oh, yes. So, how do you manage all of these roles while still prioritizing self-care, staying healthy,
Oh,
and
it's right there. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay.
Okay, perfect. So how do you manage all the roles? Okay, well, I have it all because I don't do it all. And that is one of the fundamental conversations I wish women would have explained to me, successful women and men, because they're allies and there's so much to learn from the men. And actually, I learn more from men and how they proceed through life and through their successes than I do from women in that sense. They're not doing most of it. They're not at the grocery store. They're not picking up the kids. They're not, feeling bad if they're not having their hand and feet covering all the different spots and then running themselves ragged and trying to be the best wife and the sexy wife and the best friend and the cute girl and the hot girl and the good mom. I say all that because I have it all and I have the life I want because I don't do it all. The art of delegation is what I've learned is something available to all of us, and it looks different ways for each one of us in our lives. But delegating out work that I don't need to be doing. Does that make me less of a good mom, less of a good boss, less of a good business owner, less of a good lawyer? And I'm very much the non-traditional lawyer, but I passed that bar just like everyone else on my second try. And understanding and really changing the mindset about the do it all yourself mentality. When you can start facing that and tackling that and then employing it in your life and realizing, well, maybe I have a cousin or a trusted friend, or like I can find a college student who wants a couple bucks. Again, it's different for everyone. A family member, someone you trust and love, if you have children, to help with the children. And if you don't have children, to go grocery shopping for you, to help watch your animals, to help. My ultimate goal now is to work smarter, not harder. Whenever I'm faced with a task, I am like, how can I work less and accomplish this goal? That becomes the goal for me because I know I can achieve whatever the task is. That's not the problem. The problem, or not the problem, there's never a problem. It's language. The challenge I choose to accept is how can I reach that goal working less and working smarter?
Wow, I love that. That is one of the best pieces of advice I've heard in a long time. Delegation. That's super huge. And the next question that I have is the past couple years have been filled with both opportunities and obstacles for all of us, transitioning out of a pandemic, all the different things happening. What has been the biggest challenge you faced in the last couple years, and how have you navigated it?
The biggest challenge every day is my mindset. There's nothing outside of me that has power over me. And I used to believe the opposite. I used to believe life happened to me, not for me. But through the pandemic, I realized I had a choice. And even before that, I got a divorce right before the pandemic. I had cancer before the pandemic. When I was pregnant, 7 months pregnant, diagnosed with cancer. So I went through things in my life, and I wish it upon no one. But if you can take anything from my experience, know that I came to the conclusion that the choice is always mine. And the mindset is ultimately what's going to control here. So I don't distinguish between opportunities and obstacles. It's just a fact that's been presented to me. What the difference is how my mindset is going to approach it. Is it a woe is me? The sky is falling. There's so much to do. Oh my God. I'm a mess. Everything's a mess. That, which I was very much that way before, because like a lot of the women on here, I'm type A. I'm a bad bitch. We're the same. We're the same, right? But too, like what Alicia was saying earlier, like there's no grind, there's no glamour in the grind. And now changing the mindset and realizing the success and obstacles and opportunities can be achieved through a more holistic approach. I absolutely need to decompress and unplug. I choose to. I choose to change my mindset. This is a wonderful opportunity. This obstacle, this challenge, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to learn, for me to fail, because I'm so successful only because I choose to fail often and quickly. I am the queen of failure.
Wow,
And I love that. I'm the queen of failure because without my failures, I'm not going to succeed. And so that's the mindset. So my greatest obstacle, if that's the word we're using, is keeping my mindset on that empowered, abundant mindset versus the lacking fear-based mindset where the power is outside of me, because it's not.
Wow, that is such good advice. And I love that you keep talking about the language that we're using. And I think that's so important. We misuse words for ourselves that actually don't apply. And so thank you for acknowledging that. And I think you're right. The mind is so powerful. The last question is you are an advocate for women embracing self-care. And I guess my question is, can you walk us through what you do each day? And I see you on Instagram, but if you can share with all of us.
Sure. My wake up time is between 4:30 every morning. I choose that, and it's wonderful. What a gift that my body is able to move. The second I open my eyes, I say, I get to be awake today. I get to get out of this bed. Not, I have to. I have to work out. I have to do this. I have these earrings. I have this business. Life happens for me, not to me. And it starts with the mindset. It starts with the language. It's a mantra. And really, this is the secret. This is the secret. I'm telling you all here. You heard it here first. Wake up early. And the way I can wake up that early and not be exhausted is making sure I have 7 hours of sleep before at least. And I am militant about my sleep. Sleep is medicine. Sleep is where our blood cells regenerate. Sleep is where our body cleans itself out. Sleep is where our dreams help filter out all the stresses and anxiety. Jennifer will tell you. So waking up after at least 7 hours of sleep early, boom, move my body immediately for 20 minutes every single day, whether it's walking on my walking pad, because sometimes it's too dark out, it's too cold out, there's excuses. Setting myself up for success to be able to move my body and cut through my excuses, which I will have. I am hardly motivated to work out, but I do it every single day. I move my body at least 20 minutes, something, 5-pound weights. Yeah. I don't care what it is. Strap the weights on your wrist, and while you're doing your hair, set yourself up for success. And then I'm divorced, so half of the time I have my older daughters. I have 4 children. And half of the time I don't have them. And then I have my 2 little boys, 3 and 1.5. So I am momming mode at all times and doing that part in the morning with them. And then boom, either staying home because I'm decompressing for that day, because I know I have a lot coming up in the weeks ahead, or I'm coming off a big week. I will schedule in, like Alicia was saying, I schedule in a day where I book nothing. Or well, Gina, it's not that easy. I can't book nothing. I have to work. I have to fine. That sounds like an excuse. There's 24 hours in the day, which is our greatest equalizer. What are you choosing to do with your time? Because you're not working that whole time. Again, right. You see what I mean? So, sorry, and I'm not telling my day, but wake up, do my thing. I always have lunch with someone because that's meeting time. Why take up time for a meeting? I have to eat. So I would rather eat while I'm meeting with someone who I've been intending to meet with anyways. I love a good twofer. It's my favorite. And it's time efficiency, practicality, and it moves the day along much more quickly. Then I pick the kids up from school, or I have my assistant go pick them up because that's a waste of my time to sit in a car line. Oh, but a good mom picks her kids up. Really? Is that what your mindset? You were taught that. I had to unlearn it, and I chose to, and it feels wonderful. And my kids come home, and my daughters, especially my sons, especially, are seeing what an empowered woman can look like. And then in the evening, I will either make a Postmates order, or I'll cook if I want to, not because I have to. And then bedtime is 8, 9 o'clock. If you catch me outside after 9 p.m., like it has been planned and figured out in advance, but you will not. And that's it. And then it starts over again.
Wow, that is the most thorough breakdown that anyone has ever given. And I appreciate that on behalf of everyone. Everything you said is not traditional, and I love that. And I think you're right. We have to unteach ourselves certain things that we've been taught. And that's something that I'm going through right now. So
can I caution you just with your language quickly? Because in addition to professionally being a lawyer and having my own law firm where I'm the silent partner and I have the firm and that I've started Empowered with Gina, the women's empowerment brand. And what I see time and time again from women, from students all the way to like CEO, orthopedic surgeons who are a part of the community, our language is the most limiting. And you just said, this is something I'm working on. This is something I'm struggling with. And a lot of us talk like that. This is something I want to work on. No, this is something you get to work on. This is something you can choose to work on. It puts the power back in you. It's the tiny little, like, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes.
Remove the pressure where it doesn't need to be there. You don't need to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You are choosing, or you get to explore this new opportunity that you want. You see, I'm saying the same thing. The language is different. Our nervous system is a little less triggered.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yes.
You're welcome.
Work on my language. Thank you so much. Well, Gina, is there anything else you want to share? I know that you're poolside, so I don't want to keep you too much.
Fine.
But this was so helpful what you shared today.
Nothing. If anyone else is interested, you can find me on Instagram at my name, Gina Zapanta. I talk about it constantly. And more importantly, I live it. I practice what I preach. And I show you the struggles, which I put live on right away. Okay, guys, I'm feeling like a victim. I'm feeling like this is happening. I have 4 kids looking at me, like stuff like that. Or I'm growing my business. I'm growing 2 businesses at the same time. I am a lawyer taking a lane way less traveled. What an opportunity. But with that comes challenges. And I want to share with everyone how I work through it and how they too can work through it.
Yes, everyone, please follow her. You will definitely enjoy everything that she shares. And I will also send out her Instagram so you have it. I will share this PowerPoint so everyone can access it. And I know that we're running low on time, so I'm going to stop sharing. I know there's a couple questions. Let's see. So one of the questions, it's probably for Jennifer. I've been practicing law for many years. I now see that litigation is much more difficult and that the stress causes me anxiety. I no longer take litigation cases to protect my health. Easier to farm those cases. I guess it wasn't a question. It was actually feedback. So thank you for sharing that. Jennifer, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I might throw that one to Gina. I think it's the
Yes.
go.
So that question was said. Thank you, Jennifer. By the way, fangirl, Jennifer, fangirl. Can we be besties? You too, Devin. Okay. But this goes to what Alicia was saying. You are who you hang out with. If I can hang out with these 2 ladies, can you imagine what they're going to bring to my life? And likewise, what I can contribute to theirs. So this will be happening. But to that point, that's beautiful. And I love that she shared that, because I feel that there is a stigma associated with what we've learned traditionally as lawyers. You have to do a linear thing and check all the boxes off to be a successful lawyer. But she figured out I can be equally as successful without compromising my stress and anxiety. Like, I have anxiety as well. Therapy is a huge, wonderful tool I use. But the fact that she found her answer to be a successful lawyer and to work smarter, not harder, that's it. Embrace it, own it. I love that she shared that.
Yes, I do too. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we are a little bit over, so I want to respect everyone's time. You ladies are so amazing, and thank you to everyone that attended. I will send out the PowerPoint and contact info, and I hope to see all of you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Gina.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.